is going on, All-Terrain Nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, you know the drill. It does not matter what you drive. This is your All-Terrain Nation, and I'm just merely your host, David Boyd. And tonight, you don't see him just yet, but there is the biggest deal around. Like, I mean it. Like, there's no other person I'd want to talk Nissan Frontiers with than the fabulous, the extraordinary Daniel Groders. What is going on, big deal?
What's up, Dave? Fabulous, huh? Well,
Yeah.
I'm willing to take it. I mean, that's not usually how people refer to me as, but I'll take it tonight. I'm
Dude.
stoked to be back, dude. It's been forever since I've hopped on here with you, so
I know,
I'm
man.
excited, man.
Well, it was crazy because I'm trying to incorporate other brands. Obviously, I'm pretty heavy Bronco, but I'm trying to get the Nissan roots back. I want to show the Nissan people that I still love you, even though you got one cool really truck right now for me, which is the Nissan Frontier, and I want to show the brand a lot of love again. And I thought, who better to show the brand a lot of love than it's the big deal himself?
Hey, I only have one cool truck that you like?
Yeah. I'm not a Pathfinder guy, man.
You don't like my race truck?
Well,
Some
that's not a
people
truck.
do.
That's an SUV, bro.
I mean, it's a truck.
Well, it's built on a truck. Okay, you've got two vehicles that I really
It's
like.
on 30. It's on 35s, Dave.
Well,
That's
is
pretty
it running?
truckish.
Well, being on 35s and actually driving on 35s.
It
are two
runs.
different
It
things.
runs. There's no axles actually in the axle housing right now, but it runs.
This is like 2017 when I was trying to wrap up mine, and you were like, "Dude, does it move?" I was like, "Yeah, it'll move, sort of." Like, but guys, welcome in Danny to the show again, man. Hopefully, we can get Danny on every so often. I mean, clearly, last week Danny was going to come on, and then I think he had to throw some balls at people or something. What was the deal with that?
Oh yeah, a little bowling extravaganza that apparently we promised our children. So I had to take a bunch of kids bowling.
Well, how was that? Was it exciting?
I came up to I showed up to bowl and I have a solid curve still. I still got it.
Nice,
I
dude.
still murdered all those kids.
And that's what you want to hear, right? I
Murdering children. Yes, I
Yes.
murdered a lot of children. Is what I did.
Right. But, well, it sounds like, I mean, you got to do things with the family every once in a while. I get it. Even though the Nissan family over kind of needed you, Dan, we kind of needed you a little bit. And, but it is what it is.
I know. But I'm here. I'm here now, and that's all we need to worry about.
That's right, man. So the last time it's been a while since me and you have really gotten into the Nissan brand, per se. Speaking of which, so you have a 2014 Nissan Frontier. If you don't know, me and Danny used to do the Nissan Nation Productions /podcast, and we talked about Frontier more than anything. We lived this truck for a long time, and of course we had all those spy photos, and got in trouble for that. But how's the old 14? How's the Red Dragon 2.0 doing, man?
She is collecting dust.
What?
Well, I bought an F-150, right? So
Wow.
that's it's my tow rig / daily driver, and it gets like 20 miles a gallon, so I can't really drive my 12 mile a gallon Frontier. Not hating on it, but
Yeah,
for a
that makes
daily
sense.
driver, it's just not. Especially now that I got like an old man truck now, and I just drive like an old man, like super slow, and I'm like
You
watching
got one of those
like
paperboy hats?
no, but I have like on the dash, I have like the MPG Raider, and I try and get the best MPGs. Like that's how cheesy I am.
Man.
Put it in eco mode all the time.
Well, you did break 40 this year, right?
I did. I'm 40, so I figured I needed a 40-year-old man's truck.
Yeah, so it instantly went to that. But but I'm sure the Red Dragon gets a little love, right?
Yeah. I drive it every once in a while, and truthfully, that truck is going to be my daughter's. It's going to be like a family heirloom that I pass down because me and my daughter have taken it to Death Valley. We've taken it to Utah, to Arizona. I've been in a lot of trips with her in it, on a lot of adventures. So it's kind of got a lot of nostalgia built into it now, and that's kind of what you get with vehicles sometimes when you have them and you do things with them. It's got a lot of that built into it. So I want to be able to pass it down onto her, and hopefully, fingers crossed, she kind of gets some of that adventure spirit by owning it, and also she'll be like the coolest. She'll have like the coolest truck at school, and I want all the other boys to be like, "Oh man, I wish I was cool as you."
Right. Well, back in my day, man, you would hang a shotgun from the rear view window and go to school,
I thought you had to ride your horse.
Well, no, I'm
Oh
not
no,
ri-
no, no! It was you were the horse was in front of the wagon. I believe is when you.
No, I'm riding a Bronco, sir. Anyways, but guys, bring the love for Danny. If you're just new to the channel, Danny has a channel called DeGroot X where it's just Danny time. Danny does a lot of crazy things. He's building a Nissan Race Xterra over there, and you've documented your Frontier over there too.
Yeah, I love a lot of videos of whether it's tuning or replacing axles or window nets and I don't know. Gosh, all the little things that I've done to that truck, I've done so much to it, and it really does need a new set of brakes at this point.
Right.
But with 35s, they start to feel where the braking kind of falls away a little bit. So you really need to put in on either a solid brake setup as far as pads and rotors,
Right.
or you need to start upgrading some master cylinders and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
Is it still
good
on
truck,
35s?
Yeah, it's on 35s.
Nice. And I know we had talked a while back where you said it needed a lot of love as far as like the coils needed upgraded and just where you abused that poor truck.
Yeah, it's been abused for a long time. Luckily, just recently I replaced the front coilovers, and I think I've put a couple sets of lower control arms in. I think it might need another set. But right now the biggest thing is the brakes, and then the AC only blows in defrost, so I gotta pull out a mixer flap and replace that little mixer flap motor. So it's just those things that when you're driving through dirt and dust. Whether it's suspension that you're beating up real hard, rubber or polyurethane or ball joints, all that stuff wears at like 10 times the amount of mileage. So you only get so many miles when you're, it seems like with that truck, more recently, less recently, it took a lot of off-road miles and then it would kind of just sit for a while.
Well, you know what's funny is, so you could buy a basic Nissan Pro 4X, you get the bills, and you get a slight off-road tuned vehicle, but it seems like you could go bash that thing forever and it not fall apart. But once you start adding like aftermarket, like things that you think are super quality, it's like, oh, this will solve that problem. No, 20,000 miles later, you're like, well, I got to fix that shock, or I got to do this.
Yeah, some things are made to last off road and some things aren't.
Yeah.
And some parts are quality and some parts are like consumption parts. You just consume it. Oil, you kind of consume it,
Yeah.
you change it all the time. For me, the Titan lower control arms are like consumption parts because the inner bushings will get wrecked after, I don't know, 15,000 miles or 10,000 miles if you go and you're doing high speed off road. So high speed stuff seems to me to really wreck bushings and ball joints. I think part of it is just like the vibrations and the heat that probably accumulates in the ball joints, and the hard up and down motion over and over probably heats up the rubber and whatnot. So
obviously,
that's a lot of stuff.
Danny, I know what friction is.
Yeah,
Ronald, thank you for that $4.99, dude. That means a lot to the channel. And Airplane Mike says, Dave, nice shirt. I love the turkey drop episode. That's right, dude. Danny doesn't remember this TV show, but I thought they could fly. Airplane Mike, I thought they could fly. But WKRP in Cincinnati. So Dan, like, since we haven't talked a while, man, what you've started seeing? I'm sure you've seen in SoCal. You've seen some Frontiers floating around now, right? Some of the new ones.
I haven't seen any, and I bet you've seen way more than me where you're from. I haven't seen any fresh new ones. I think I may have seen one. Can't remember. I may have just barely seen one like at a glimpse, but really I haven't seen them out here.
Well, I know
I see a lot of them happening all over the Instagrams and stuff like that, but they're not out here really.
Well, they've been hard to get. I know the Nissan, because at the plant you're able to, or you work for Nissan, you're able to lease vehicles through the company. And they've put out bulletins saying they are not allowed to, because they having trouble, like everybody trying to manufacture anything, having trouble getting them out to people who want to buy them. So it's like, no, sorry, company people, you can't buy these right now. You can't
probably fill pre-orders and stuff like that, I imagine. And people that are kind of on the hook for it.
I do see quite a bit of them, man, and I've seen quite a bit of Z1 Off-Road is got two of them now. They've got a red one and a blue one, and dude, that blue on the Frontier is freaking nice, man.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably, I mean, I like that red, and I
Our
I
boy
want to see the
Ronald
red
got
in
the red.
person.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did. I want to see the red in person because the red, to me, like I personally think that the red on my truck is one of the best reds out there,
It is. It's a nice one.
across many brands. But I don't know if they changed it up to I want to see the other red in person because um it's there might be a little changes in it. I do think it's a different actual color, right?
Yes, it is different from what you have. Yeah, because yours is more like a maroon, and this is more like a fire engine red.
No, no, mine was so they had like the dark red, I think it's the lava red
Mm-hmm.
for quite a while, and mine is actually what's the color? It's something orange. They call it something orange.
Hmm.
So it's a very like orangey red. And most of the Frontiers out there that I saw were the lava red. So I want to see if it's closer to this kind of like orangey red that I have um than like the candy apple, like that darker, that
Right.
deeper red.
Right. Yeah, no, I think right now, like they've got some. I'm happy to see Nissan grab some colors. I mean, obviously they've pulled from other manufacturers some of their popular colors, but why not? Like for the longest, Nissan was like a black, white.
Yeah.
Then that was like the primary colors of their trucks, and I'm happy to see like they're going out there and trying some things. Though I do feel like they could go a little bit further. And Toyota's got. I don't know if you've seen the new lime green Tacoma. It's fun. It's not something for everybody, but it's a fun
Yeah.
color.
Well,
I wish they would do
Nissan did that with the Xterra there for a little while with
that.
that bright yellow. They did that with they had the orange.
That
Um,
the green, the Jeep style green that they did. For a
yeah,
little
they had
bit.
the Jeep green, and then they had the blue there in the early 2000s. I believe they had those colors on the Xterra. So they kind of stepped out with the Xterra, and then they kind of reel it back in, and I think they've been playing it a little bit more safe since then. But that was a big step out for them, and I like when you see some of that where they kind of throw a little bit of caution to the wind and hope for the best, because those orange Xterras back in the day were super rad.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a great color.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And you're right. I don't think that, like I said, I don't think they've stepped out enough versus what they could, but they're going to throw some new colors out probably once a year, and they're going to break it up a little bit. But man, so I got to do some time in the Z1 blue one, the 22 blue they have, and they put I forget how many inch, I think maybe 2-inch lift on it, and they put 33s on it. And the downside that I've seen so far is Nissan not understanding that truck guys want to lift things. Like, truck guys never happy with it in factory form. And, of course, all manufacturers from Toyota and everybody put the weakest tires on them possible on their off-road packages because they know, I'm going to go take it and put what I want on it. But I know the melt mod, they've had to take that to another level to make 33s work on it. But and 35s, you're going to do some chopping on this truck. But they look so good when they're lifted.
Yeah, I mean, you want your car or your truck to sound quiet and stuff like that. And I mean, I think it's a little bit more apparent when you like your Bronco. I mean, it's even they went with a mud terrain tire, I guess you would say, or I don't. What came with the Bronco? It's the new Goodyear, right?
It's an MT, but it's maximum traction. It's not mud terrain.
Yeah, yeah. So those tread blocks are much smaller. They're broken up, so you're not going to get nearly the howl. I mean, it is that tire's built for, we'll call it multi-terrain, whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
But it's not going to give the howl as something like a regular, a standard MT. Like the bigger the tread block, the more howl you're going to get. So, the Bronco, especially with the Badlands and the Sasquatch package, etc., people are understanding that a big lug style tire is going to make some noise. So I think that's acceptable when you're buying that big package. But a Frontier isn't. It's more of like it's built more for like an adventure or a light adventure vehicle. It's not built to do the same thing. It doesn't have front and rear lockers. It doesn't have sway bar disconnects. So you're selling it to a crowd that isn't necessarily wanting to go out and spend half their time in the truck in the dirt. Most of the time it's going to be on the highway, and they want it to be quiet and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah, and well, the biggest thing that so I was talking when I was in Texas for the Texas press event that I attended. I talked to Toyota about this, and they said the reason that most manufacturers, or in their case, do not um, add better tires is because the number one complaint they do surveys. You buy a new vehicle, you'll
Yeah.
get a survey, and then they'll do in a couple months do a survey. They said the first thing they would either fail about was the loudness of tires. They said that's the first thing people will complain about. So all these manufacturers now have went to these very all-terrain, basically road tires. And hey, if you want it to sound, worse, go for it. But let's see. I want to talk to you about Hefty, man. And so let me transition this over a little bit. So there is Danny's Red Dragon that you'll see up on the screen, and it's got that red Hefty front bumper that Danny no longer has, sadly. But this truck was a hell of a build, and your daughter's going to be very, 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 very nice to get that. But what I want to show, if I can, I'm probably screwing this up on, if you're going to screw up, do it live. Here it is. So here is the Hefty. We're inside Hefty, and it's from their TikTok. I don't know, Danny, if you've seen this or not.
I did. That's the one that I saw where they were showing the two different versions.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to enlarge this just a little bit for everybody.
Oh, looks so.
And these bumpers, so Hefty's done this right. I complained a little bit the Nissan Nismo bumper, like it's just a sore, big chin sticking out of there. But Hefty, the way they've done it is well thought out, and it looks like they're still getting the winch in there, and it looks really good. And of course, there's that blue, Danny, that I really like. And I think right now, if I were to go out, because I've talked about, I was having problems with the Bronco, and I was like, I'll just go buy a Frontier. I mean, I can get them here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would go all out with it, something like this, man. If you guys like and would like to see this down the road, man, definitely help by smashing like and a subscription to help these things happen so you can see how crazy we would get with this. But, Danny, I love that they have instantly two options for bumpers, too. They didn't just go, hey, well, we could do one. But now they were like, let's do a high clearance, even though I think basically they're the same bumper. I think, yeah, you've got the wing that expands out a little bit to protect the plastics ever so slightly. But I just think the center one would be more than plenty for me. What do you think?
I love the center one. The high clear does look like it has a little bit more clearance.
It probably
and I will
does.
say those front corners too, especially if you're going to be out doing something in Moab, you're going to nerf those front corners on some of those bigger trails. So and I think the high clear just has a little bit more of a cool look as far as like making it look aggressive and stuff.
Yeah,
but either one, you're really getting like just the coolest bumper, and both of them are aluminum. Both of you don't want 1,000 pounds sitting on the front of your truck. And I know with my truck, that aluminum bumper that I had, which is probably similar as far as weight is concerned to what they're putting out right there. It was like 47 pounds for a full aluminum bumper at a winch, which is roughly 50. You're in the 100 pounds, but that's, stuck all the way out there. That's a lot of leverage on the front of the truck. So you don't want to put too much weight with a bumper, but you still want the rigidity and strength. The toe points are right in line with the frame. Another really big deal. Behind those toe points, they're reinforced with much larger gauge aluminum. So they're extremely strong where you need them to be. And in the wings, they use a slightly smaller gauge, I believe. I don't know with this one per se, but it's still. I mean, I've seen crash reports or people that have crashed them and shown the bumper afterwards, and it could have been much worse and stuff like that. But
aluminum people are scared of aluminum anyways for no reason. Like you had aluminum skids on yours and beat the piss out of that thing.
Yeah, I put the whole truck on skids many times.
And of course, me and you with the Rogue Overland, man, we did a bunch of stuff out in the hills of Colorado with it, and just no complaints at all. And I wish, aluminum people are starting to embrace aluminum, and I think Hefty for the Nissan world was definitely all in with aluminum. I think that's about all they make now is just aluminum bumpers, because the cost, there's slightly more cost, but in the reality, it's almost cheaper to ship because it's lighter than steel.
Well, and on top of that is you're going to have to modify your front suspension less because you have way less, you're not going to have, you know, twice. Well, your front suspension is completely dependent on what, how much that front bumper weighs. Because if you're adding 200 pounds to that front suspension, that's a completely different spring. It's a completely, the shock valving may need to be different. And if you go with a shock valving that's meant for a stock truck, and a spring that's meant for a truck that's, a couple 100 pounds more or whatever, and then you throw all that, you throw all the weight in with the sliders and the skid plates and stuff like that. That's all weight that you're trying to pull up a hill when you're trying to climb something stuck in sand. It's kind of like a compounding effect with all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed, so when I had my Nissan Xterra and I had a Gen 1 and I had a big RLC front bumper on it, which I loved. Of course, it was steel. And I had a winch out there, like you're saying. It's like having a chubby Dave out there just hanging on the hood, out the front. And what was cool was when I switched from cable to synthetic line, I was going around some off-ramps in that thing, getting on the interstate, and I could tell a major difference about just taking that 30 pounds or whatever of cable off there. So, yes, every bit of weight saves the front of these things.
Yeah, Smitty just said, I will only do steel on the front skid and aluminum close to the rear. I would say, Smitty, the one place I may have done things different is the radiator skid. That's the only skid that I may have done things different, because that one ended up getting bent up a couple times, and I mean, really all I did is pull it off and straighten it out and put it back on.
Yeah.
I think I did that twice.
You can heat them, right, a little bit and kind of beat them.
Well, you could just flatten them out with it. Like, luckily I had like a press thing that I was able to kind of just press it back into shape. It just had like a little bit of a bow to it. However, the aluminum engine skid has been nothing but perfect on that truck, and I smashed it. Like, before I even had that truck really lifted, I went and did some really trails I probably shouldn't have been on. So fight me, Smitty. I'll put aluminum under my engine all day long.
Yeah, you
did. But
the
radiator skid was
trifecta with it in Moab.
That one I was tight and swap, but I was definitely like, I was on 33s. But even before that, I took it out when it was, I only had like a 2-inch or 2.5-inch lift, and I did I can't remember that trail. I did it with I can't remember the trail, but I was dragging myself all over that trail the entire time, and it was ground destroying crazy. Like, all I did was just smash the skid plates and gas out.
Right. Angel Martinez for $4.99, which thank you, sir, for that support. Out in SoCal with Pro4X, bunch of taco fanboys out here. Off-roading with them, just as good, capable stock. Any lift recommendations? Well, there's two places right now that I would recommend. There's Niztec Lifts out of Colorado, who has a 22 in their stable now, and they've done a bunch of cool stuff with it. I almost think that one at Hefty is their truck. And then
they have that blue one.
Then there's Z Off-Road here out on the East Coast, and a little bit bigger shop than Niztec. The customer service is outstanding. But either way, you're going to get a nice deal on a lift, and I would highly recommend both companies. I've dealt with Z1 at their shop. I really liked dealing with those guys, and I've been to Niztec shop, and I really like dealing with those guys, man. So I wouldn't put my name on anything unless, honestly, I've dealt with the companies, and both are outstanding companies. Dan, any others that you would recommend?
No, those are the two that I would suggest. I'm sorry, Niztec just came out with a really cool new Elka coilovers that they've been working really hard on for a very long time.
MK2s?
No. This is a whole new shock company that I can't remember. They used to be really into motocross, if I remember right, or maybe rally. It's completely, I don't remember exactly. They were in a motorsports category, and they started making shocks for people. And I think they came out with Toy Tech started using them. And from what I hear, it's a really good shock.
And I heard Toy Tech got bought out.
Yeah, it's very possible.
I know I know it happened. So
yeah. So, but Niztec has just came out with for the first gen and second gen, their Elka shocks. I don't remember what they're called exactly, but they're on their site. Super cool stuff. I'd really like to try them. I actually was going to get a set, but they weren't in stock yet. They were still in the prototype phase.
Mm-hmm.
But truthfully, the best thing that you could do is save your money or piece together a Titan swap. That it was by far, hands down, the best way to modify.
I'm just not a
Frontier.
I'm not a Titan swap fan. I mean, I'm not a I shouldn't say not a fan. The cost of that, and I don't know, man.
He's got a Pro 4X, so all he has to do is get it long axle.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's amazing if you want to build the ultimate, especially in your area. I guess, like if you want to hit the dunes and stuff, that wide track gives you a lot of flex.
You just never did it, and that's why you're not a fan.
No, I think they look amazing.
You're a lady boy.
Trust
You're
me.
a lady boy.
At my Nissan event, I seen many of these things, and there was times with Kelly's Xterra, I was thinking, let's just Titan swap. I do admit, like the diff is definitely better. Like, so you can't say, hey, there's no value to it. But those two companies, though, I would definitely. There's a couple I would stay away from, and it's gosh, I can't think of the Red Shock. Rancho does lifts that I would keep away from.
Don't do Rancho. Bilsteins are all right. You could do a Bilstein lift. They're not too bad. Highly suggest replacing with the SPC upper arm or a Total Chaos arm. Dirt King makes some cool stuff, but that's more for like Titan swap stuff.
Yeah, and pricey.
Very pricey.
But you can get away almost just starting out with a little puck lift just to get you a little extra room for some bigger tires.
Yeah,
and grip is king.
On it. Yeah,
grip is king on anything you do. I don't care what part of the coast you're on. If your tires don't grip.
Speaking of grip, Dave has a great grip.
I do. G.I. Joe Kung Fu action, but
strong, not even calloused. I mean, the guy used a lot of lotion.
Oh, man. Smitty's Garage says 6% off still live at z1offroad.com. And, yeah, there's Black Friday deals I forgot all about. So go check those websites out. Either way, they're going to ship quick. So, Dan, I asked a question, or I put a poll up about dealers charging over MSRP. And I wanted to get your take because we really haven't talked too much about buying new vehicles. The past year when we've done shows, it's been more off-road adventures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming like everywhere in the world, if you drove to any dealership right now, you're going to see MSRP plus ADM, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that depends on your area and their availability. I mean, I think it's going to really differ between areas and their stock and the amount of stock that they move.
Right.
Examples is my local Ford dealer where I bought my Ford truck. Normally they have over 110 to 120 vehicles in stock. I was talking to the owner. They had 30 new vehicles in stock.
Wow.
This was back, 4 months ago. And he said, we've been hurting so bad that in order to pay our bills, we have to sell stuff over MSRP. We were talking, their new F-150s were $5,000 over MSRP, which, supply and demand, guys. If you're going to buy a truck and you have to buy a truck right now, the dealership has to stay open because they're not moving the volume, so they have to charge more for what they have. So on one hand, I don't hate dealers for it. They are a business that's trying to stay open, and the way they stay open is by selling what they have. And if they have to sell for a higher price because they only have so many to sell, if they moved 400 units in 3 months, then they could, make their money that way. But if they only have, 20 units to move in a couple months, they have to sell them at a higher price.
Well, where do you stand with that? Because this is not just, the Nissan truck right now. And of course the Frontier, sadly, I've documented this time and time again that Nissan's timing for things is not intentional. But they have the worst timing for everything. And they've dropped a brand new truck in the middle of a pandemic when you can't get, microchips, whatever, everything's shorting. And
they dropped 2 brand new trucks
in
the middle of the pandemic. They dropped the new Titan as the pandemic started.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then they dropped the Frontier as the pandemic was in its death throes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're at the Omicron now. I won't get into it. But
Yeah, I don't know what style of the pandemic we're in, but it's still. I mean,
Fauci got some more. Fauci got a little bowl that he sticks his hand in.
Yeah.
And dishes around. He's like, "We got the Zim Zams, Alabama."
Well, no matter what side you are on that, is the facts are companies were shut down for a while and they're playing catch up, man. And supply and demand, there was still a demand for when the pandemic hit, and now these manufacturers can't find labor because nobody seems to want to work. Whatever your opinions are out of that, keep them to yourself. But two, it's just they're playing catch up.
I agree. Angel Martinez, I bought from Mossy. Mossy Nissan apparently is kind of has a corner on all the dealerships in San Diego. He said they budge on MSRP, but no market adjustment increase, which is very good. I mean, if you can buy at MSRP right now, you're solid. I mean, our Pathfinder initially when we went to go look at it, we bought a 2021 Pathfinder. On the sticker, it said, dealer markup or whatever they call it, of $5,000, and we're like, what's this? Because we wanted a truck, and that's not gonna fly. And they're like, oh, we tried that, it didn't work, so that don't worry about that. So they're selling at MSRP. So I mean, which kind of sucks still, because you don't really want to pay MSRP, but if a dealer's not willing to budge, and you want a truck, you're going to pay what you're going to pay. It's not like they're forcing you to buy that truck. It's your decision. So
of course. Well, and like the problems that I've documented with the Bronco, Nissan, you might as well, they hadn't built a Bronco since 96. Well, hell, the last generation Frontier seems like it was built starting around then and just now ended. So the fan base was at the heated, like they couldn't wait for this vehicle. And, now you can't get as many, they can't build as many. And yeah, man, I get it that, I think for a good 10 years now, the days of you getting a discounted price on any vehicle are over. I think these manufacturers have learned real quick. Oh, they'll quickly, like a flop on a dime there, that they will pay whatever you say.
Well, I mean, when a jabroni orders a vehicle like a year and a half in advance, and he's an idiot and he's completely dumb and he wears red hats, he's gonna, wait forever. He'll probably end up paying more for that vehicle by the time he's done ordering it and reordering it and triple and then back ordering and then triple back ordering the order that he did order. They got it basically by the noose,
right?
And he's still trying to hand him money. Well,
but Frontier is like that a little bit, because I know a bunch of people that couldn't wait to get into this vehicle, and sadly, it's a game of you're playing poker, and sadly, like they have the better poker face, because it comes down to they don't have to sell it to you. At no point is any dealership ever like required to sell you that vehicle. So you may get your feelings hurt and been like, well, and now they add. I've seen a lot of the Nissan people talking about it on the socials, $5,000 over, which like you were saying earlier, I don't want to pay over because you're instantly in the hole. And Nissan.
Hope you got the gap insurance.
Yes, and Nissan doesn't have the resale that some of the others. That's not Toyota, and I think it's just as good as truck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not insulting the brand. It's just they don't have the cojones that Toyota does with the quality, or because I think Toyota's quality is a bunch of BS sometimes too. I just think somehow people bought into that, and Nissan I think is just as a good vehicle, but they get like a pass sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like because you can get like 300,000 miles out of a Camry, they just get a pass. Yes.
Like, oh, my brother had a Camry, it lasted forever. You're like, all right, well, your brother never drove it. Or your brother drove it to and from work, which was 10 miles away, for 300 years and changed the oil religiously. But yeah, I agree. Like sometimes Toyotas aren't necessarily the most as reliable as every other Toyota in the world.
Yes, and we got Nissan royalty in the house. We got Kevin Monet in the house, and Kevin would know because he's a trainer for Nissan. He goes from dealer to dealers. He would know about dealer markups. He said, I I've seen upcharges from $10,000 to $15,000 on Frontiers in Northern California. Boulder is not charging up, which is nice. Boulder, Nissan in Boulder, Colorado, so that's nice. And some aren't. Some brands, especially smaller brands, I've found they know their customer base and they know there's a loyalty to the customer base. Where the big mega brands, it's about a bottom line. They have shareholders and they've got to always be making profits. And when they don't have, like you were saying earlier, they have less cars, they're still required to hit a profit margin. So that might be why they're upcharging. But good brands like Boulder, smaller brands, I think that they know their business.
Dealership, yeah, smaller dealerships have a little bit better leeway in that regard. John Walsh, I was a Toyota tech, and believe me, they got a big pass.
Right.
I would say like mechanics for any brand will be the first to tell you that, like, yeah, dude, whatever people are saying, it's not as good as you think. 'Cause it's almost like, they're like doctors. Like, yeah, you're not going to live as long as you think, or like, be more careful about doing this. Whereas then there's a dude out in the dirt that's like, fuck it, dude, I got a tit. I can do whatever I want. You're like, well, you're not going to be the one that fixing it. You're taking the dish.
And speaking of doing whatever you want, Danny, what's in the glass tonight, buddy? I haven't even asked you.
Yeah, it's empty.
Jeez.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to text the wife. Maybe you should put a poll up, Dave. Will Danny's wife come and refill his glass?
Let me do this. I will definitely. We'll throw a poll up there.
I'm texting her. Can I get some kind of booze refill? Should I put a please in there, or should I just not put a please in?
No, you can't sway.
No, please.
We've got a poll up now. You can't sway.
No,
the poll.
please. No, please. So there it is. Where is it? Can I get some kind of booze refill? Will Danny's wife cave to his demands?
I put will Danny's glass get a refill? So if y'all would vote on that, it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know it's kind of a shitty subject to talk about because I think people are adapting really quickly about markups and stuff and or just paying MSRP because of people aren't stupid. You drive through a dealership, you see literally they have something or they don't. And now I'm lucky with my Nissan dealership because us being so close to Canton, also being close to HQ. I do see quite a bit. What? Uh-oh.
That was fast.
Wow.
Look at
that.
Look at that. I have the best wife in the world, guys. Oh, what a heavy pour. A little
Dan,
classy shard. Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, bro. Thank you, baby. I love you.
You need that pinky up, though, Dan. Come on now. There you go. You got to stretch the pinky. We're at 50% on the poll, so obviously.
Yeah, for those of you that doubted my wife, she's been with me for 20 years.
Yeah, one time Danny was like, his face turned red when she walked to that door, so I don't know what happened on that occasion. But anyway, so Kevin, it's good to have you in here, buddy. And we've got to get Joey Parent on one of these Friday shows, man, because obviously.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Dave.
Well,
Joey drives a Jeep now.
I know he drives a Gladiator. You know why though? Because Nissan quit making the Xterra, and he was a little upset about it.
Well, yeah, of course that, but also he ruined his Xterra.
I think he ruined his Jeep too. Last I heard.
Yeah, I got to talk to him.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna call him tomorrow. I got a long weekend, so I'm gonna call him tomorrow and find out what the heck happened because there was some drama on some off-road trip, and I never heard what actually happened or if there was spoofs or what. But we should have him on a Nissan Friday for sure.
Oh, definitely, man. Let's see, guys, bring your questions or comments, man. Definitely. I'm curious to know where you guys stand with this. And 27 in here and only 19 likes. Dan, you got to hit the like button for me, man. I know one of those is definitely Danny. Danny's squirreling around.
I got you.
Oh, I just saw it. Go click to 20. Look at that.
There it was.
But if you, especially Nissan guys, like me and Danny have over 7 years of just solid nothing but Nissan talk, and I want to. You guys deserve a show of people who like your product, and whether I'm driving a Ford or not, I'm still a Nissan fanboy. I love the brand. Like I said, my second choice right now would be the Frontier to be in my driveway. Sadly, well, I don't say sadly. Ford finally came through and built me a Bronco, but I'm still looking forward to maybe down the road, Danny, getting that because I've got that Gladiator sitting over there. And now me and the Gladiator, we've done some time together. We did an off-road trip together, and let me tell you, Dan. No, we got to talk offline about that. That's a whole nother.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Okay.
the
But
Jeep night. That's Wednesday night Jeep night show.
yeah.
But I'm itching to. We took a new Frontier. There was actually 2 new Frontiers at Went this year.
Yeah.
So can't you know Brady Overly?
Yeah.
His apprentice who works for Regal Nissan now just picked up a 22. It was a green one, real pretty. I've used it in last week's thumbnail. And thanks Tim Esterthal or however I always butcher your name, but pick up in
Yeah.
SUV talk.
Tim basically probably just paid you back for $5 you gave him on some show.
I think Google's the only one that wins in this battle of paying. Each
Yeah,
other.
they're just collecting the 3%,
Yeah.
2% back and forth from you guys.
But dude,
Anyhow,
so other than tires, because they put weak ass tires on these things, like bad. Other than that, dude, this thing was super capable. It outdid the Gladiator. I will say that in a heartbeat. It outperformed the Gladiator on the same. It was following me, and I got the Gladiator stuck. I had to be pulled out, and that truck never did.
did you get any road time on it?
Not on the Freshie, the stock one. I didn't, but I did with the Z1s, lifted on 33s.
Yeah, yeah. And they have a minor lift. It's like I can't remember. They just have like a upper control arm on a shock or a Bilstein or something like that lift on it. Smitty, can you weigh in and let us know what kind of lift they have on that fresh new?
We got to get Smitty on here
Z1?
sometime.
Yeah, Smitty works over at Z1
does.
if I remember right.
Good
Yeah.
people, man. Gave me a bottle of Jack
Yeah,
Rye.
he's got a super sick VTO, if I
V8
remember
Xterra.
right. Yeah, he's got a V8 Xterra. He's got some cool cars. Big deal.
GTO too, which is always cool.
Tip for Danny's server. Sweet. That's because you need to learn how to drive off road, Dave. You know,
Tim, I will challenge you off road any day, buddy.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tim do anything more than a long dirt road, Tim. I'm calling you out on that one. I have yet to see you take any of your factory given vehicles on anything more than a dusty sneeze road.
Well, so speaking of Tim, me and Tim were talking privately, and of course, especially the bigger channels, you need to buy vehicles every year. One, for content. 2, you need tax breaks, and
Yeah.
you know it's just what. Trust me, the Gladiator or the Gladiator and Bronco will be tax breaks for me. But I was really talking to him hard about getting in a new Frontier because he did. I don't know, Dan, if you've seen any of his F-150 Power Boost videos he did.
Yeah.
Really cool. Kind
I
of
paid a lot of attention to
an
those.
everyday guy testing these vehicles out, what it's like to live with it. And I thought Tim would be great to have a Frontier. I mean, you give him a Pro 4X, give him 6 months in it, but then damn Toyota had to come out with the new Tundra and just ruin it.
Oh yeah,
And Tim's
for
always,
sure.
whether he'll admit it or not, he's always slightly a Toyota fanboy. So
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, I kind of pegged him as a Ford fanboy, and then I watched all of his Ford videos, and I was like, you know what? He's on the Ford train, but I feel like he could. It was like he was married to a decent looking Ford woman, but he had a roving eye. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't all in,
right.
And I will say that Toyota is definitely. They threw down some gauntlets, and you know we're on tier night, but Toyota threw down some gauntlets on what they're offering in the future, which I really like. I really like them pushing the envelope. I think I really hope that all the other manufacturers will keep pushing the envelope in the same way.
I think they will.
So I'm excited to see how that plays out. But yeah, the Frontier I think is kind of gonna age quickly.
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think I talked to Tim about this one time. I think the Frontier they did just good enough. Like they brought it just a hair past what everybody was doing slightly, and it's a very Nissan way. And I've seen I have pictures of it inside the plant or inside HQ where they were benchmarking it against the Toyota Tacoma, and of course that's the vehicle you benchmark everything against because that's the king of the hill, man. There's no shame in that game. Like that's who you want to go after, except for the fact that I feel like they just did just good enough to be slightly better because I think it's a better engine than obviously the Tacoma engine. It's the worst part of that truck. It's weak. It's just barely good
Agreed.
enough. You put bigger tires on it, and I know
It's a Band-Aid, right?
yeah, every overlander out there, man, they all get their little boners, their little overland boners for that truck because I think it's a good looking truck and it still looks fresh to me, but they all hide from the fact that that engine has no get up and go. And I think the 3.8, the short time I've done with the 3.8, it's way better than the Tacoma, and the 9-speed transmission, way better. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've done time with the 9-speed. It's the same one from the Titan.
It's really good. And actually, Tim, I watched some videos of your review of the Pathfinder, and I completely agree with almost everything. The Pathfinder's a little glitchy, but one thing that I do love is the transmission is very smooth, very little herky. I want to say it's even smoother than the Ford, which they've had theirs for a longer. But the only thing is, I call our Pathfinder the rocket ship because there's so many stupid things that are like telling you to do things, and it is the most distracting vehicle I've ever been in. And I can only imagine something with more tech that's trying to tell you things. It's telling you what speed limit you should go by. You got to turn half the stuff off. It's just in order to be like focused on the road. It's telling you what to, where to put your hands so that you're getting the driver assist, whatever. It's the Starship Pathfinder.
Yeah,
a little much.
Oh no, super nice. Hey, let me tell you this though. The vehicle.
Hold on. A little bit. Let me just leave it out there. Sorry, I had a very important conversation with my middle daughter about Thai tea.
Oh. But I will say the Pathfinder. I know you love it. The Infinity version, the new QX60, dude. I can't be nice to that vehicle.
Yeah,
there's a lot of dumb details in that vehicle. When I tested it, that drives great.
Really?
Don't get me wrong. Drives great, shifts great. Love that motor with that transmission. They put chrome everywhere, and I was literally in Texas being blinded. No matter what direction.
You know how I feel about that. So whatever you're feeling about that, you can double that for me.
Yes.
Golly,
no, it's I know what they're doing. They're playing to a high end crowd, but yeah, it was. And then after you do time in that, Dan, be happy I didn't test drive the Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit L Edition Reserve, the damn 10-mile an hour.
The $100,000 Jeep Cherokee.
Dude, your wife ever sat in that thing, you wouldn't be in that Nissan, I tell you that.
I can almost promise you in 2 years when our lease is up, because she doesn't last in cars.
Right.
When our lease is up, she's moving up into the top echelon. Yeah. She's gonna be in a Range Rover or a Tesla.
Nah, don't do that. Well,
she's
Tesla,
gonna be. Listen,
I'm not gonna say no to a Tesla.
I can't say no to whatever her choices are, but she's going to be in the upper echelon of the hoity-toity vehicles. If I said that correctly.
Hey Dan, you can get a V8 in this Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, but she's not gonna drive a Jeep, and I won't let her. Not for that
come
price.
on, bro. Come on.
I don't care how nice it is, Dave.
Anyways,
this is the no Jeep household. She has to park it down the street if she bought it.
I used to be a no Jeep household. Let's see. Well, it is Well, you can't say they're FCA piece of shits anymore, guys. It's Deleontis. It's the dick pill company now. Like
it's a dick pill.
we got to drop FCA. But yeah, the 9-speed in that Frontier, dude, is super nice, and I was, like I said, the short time I've gotten to be with it, and hey, Nissan, biggest fanboys over here who've pumped your company for years. Let's wake the press fleet back up for old Dave and Danny and help us out a little bit. But I would like to do a good 2 weeks with that vehicle just to see what it was like living with it. My neighbors already think I'm probably a drug dealer with me having new cars in every other week. So let's really add to that.
Yeah, Dave is definitely a drug dealer. Just
Yeah,
for the record,
I'm a mule.
he deals very, very terrible
Yeah.
Mexican weed.
No, it's cars is what and I seem to lose out on it. So oh man, I can't believe anybody hasn't asked where Kelly is.
Hey,
No
Dave.
black eyes for me this week, guys. So I'm good.
For the record, I have a complaint.
Oh.
The Pathfinder passenger seat sits so low that if I sit in the passenger seat, my wife sits in the driver's seat. I feel like
Are you
she is the
demasculine?
king. Yeah, I'm demasculated to the nth degree. She is the king sitting up on the dais, like in the raised dais of the court, and I'm sitting there asking for her to like give me more land so I
Is
can
it
make
like
more crops for her, ma'am.
is it like Pip?
It's
You bring your
you
bowl.
can't
You bring
move
your
the-
bowl. May I have
Yeah.
more, sir?
May I have more set, please? Yeah, it is weird. Like I don't like you sit so low in the passenger seat. There's no up and down. I don't know. Little minor complaint, but at the same time, it's weird. It's weird.
Tim, Danny could get press vehicles, but Danny just chose to. He's so spotty with his channels that he does.
Yeah, I don't quite have the drive at this point in my life. I basically
Literally.
walk out to my garage, and I work my ass off on my truck, and then find out that my wheel doesn't fit on my axle. That I just spent $500 getting the new studs put in, and now I gotta drill my wheels out and spend another however many dollars on race truck stuff. And then I just get depressed and go inside to my house and kiss my kids and
Yep.
throw the ball to my son.
Knowing you're watching some race shows on Netflix.
I do watch F1 every weekend.
I have not watched that show at all.
Dave.
You're talking about the
I
show on Netflix, right? You've pushed me to watch this.
Well, I've watched all the Netflix shows, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But I watched I bought the F1 app
Oh my God.
and like the year, so I watched all the qualifying.
You see
I watched all
why
the practice.
You see why his
I watched all
wife
the races.
needs the hoity-toity vehicle is because Danny's an F1 guy now, and only the upper echelon of racers like F1. Because the lower class people that might like just dirt racing or something, Danny doesn't associate with those people. So I apologize for having Danny on the show.
Unless
tonight.
it's off-road dirt racing, then I definitely get it down with
yeah.
that.
Well, I can't even get you to get the stupid computer for the video game so we could race each other.
I can't afford it, Dave. It costs $500 to put 5/8 studs in my effing axles on my race truck, and now my wheels don't fit. It's a conversation for another time, but good Lord.
That's
what I spent like 3 days trying to get my wheels onto my truck.
Dude, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. So Dan, if right now mid-sized truck, where are you at with mid-sized trucks? Which one would you buy? Which one would you and did you see that? We were talking earlier that Nissan's kind of the new kid on the block right now, and they've got everything going for them. But well, the Global Ranger just popped up. Tacomas. There's supposedly been spotted testing Tacomas around now.
Yeah,
they've got a short window to make a lot of hay.
Yeah, the portents of the Tundra may bode well for the new Tacoma. I think they may come out swinging with a new Tacoma if they do. I've been a pretty big fan of the Ranger from a powertrain standpoint for a while.
Right. Yeah, you've been on that 4-cylinder bandwagon with that for a long time.
Yeah, it's impressive. And the more people I run into, and the more Ford stuff I do, I'm a big fan of that power plant. And really, when you break down these vehicles, it kind of comes down to power plant, transmission, axles, and suspension to me. The tech and interior is kind of a third when it comes to these vehicles, because we use these vehicles as tools for doing what we do, whether it's hauling stuff or off-roading or whatever. So we're a little bit more into that portion of it. So
oh crap, Kelly's in here. I gotta go. She said it's time to go.
You should bounce. Are those musical notes?
I think so. I don't know if that means she's gonna sing while she's beating
whistling.
me or what.
But it would be super cool if Toyota came out with some kind of turbo something.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
would you so Ranger with this Ranger that you were kind of talking about? Only you get one engine option. That's it. I think it was Ford testing the waters. It's an older truck. They were like, "Hey, we'll see if it sells." Obviously, we know there's a new Ranger coming, and I think the new Ranger is going to get probably 3 engine options because they're going to do a Raptor version and everything.
that's how Ford rolls too, right?
And I'm multiple sources now telling me that the new Raptor Bronco is getting the 3.0. So I could see them doing the entry level 4-cylinder, doing the 2.7 like my Bronco has, and then dumping that 3-liter with the just balls out 3-liter. And so therefore, like Nissan kind of behind the 8 ball then because you get one engine option. In the last truck, you got two.
Yeah, it's a one naturally aspirated engine option that you get what you get. Whereas, in my opinion, when you get like a turbo motor, you can tune that thing real quick.
Yep.
And it's not like you get 10 horsepower.
Yeah.
You throw a tune in it, which there's a lot of aftermarket for a lot of these motors. If I wanted to go take my F-150 out, I could go get 500 horsepower out of it with like a tune.
Yeah.
I mean, it would definitely not be a daily driver tune, but like, so that's the kind of thing that you get with turbos. And, so I think turbos are kind of the future.
Well, which comes first?
Maybe there's a little bit more maintenance, but
which comes first? Because Nissan, the imports in general, they were ahead of the turbo game. Like, all through the 70s and late 70s, early 80s, like they were first to get into the turbos. Ford dicked with it a little bit, and then.
So, are you trying to tell me that the little Ford 2.4 Mustang with the turbo on it was not cool?
No, that was horrible.
The Fox body.
No, but what I'm saying, my point is, so you would think Nissan has a leg up to. If you go back to years ago, I mean, look at GTR. The RB stuff is they know how to turbo engines. What do they do first with the truck? Does it get a turbo 4-cylinder or do they do a hybrid?
For what
Frontier,
vehicles?
For Frontier. At some point, they have to add something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think current administration hybrid. I think different administration turbo. Depends on where they're going to get the best tax breaks from.
Yeah, but I mean it's. Because I still hear rumors persisting about the Nismo Frontier that we've talked about for a while. And last I was talked to somebody in the know, they said, "Hey, we want to drop the regular Frontier. Then the next year we want to dump the Nismo Frontier." And if they could get ahead of Ford on that as well, because I think the next Ranger is going to be. Look at Maverick sales. Maverick is nuts. Maverick is doing way more than I anticipated it ever would. I probably think that it probably is doing way more than Ford anticipated it was going to do. But so they need to get. They've got a good chance to get ahead of Ford right now because I think the Ranger is going to beat to market before Tacoma does. Let's do a Halo truck. Let's put some. It could be the 3.8. Let's put that with a twin turbo setup. And just go at it, man. It's going to be a $60,000 to $80,000 Nissan. But you put that wide track, you tighten swap it because trust me, Nissan knows what tighten. They know all their parts how they fit together. You wide track it, you put wider fenders on it, and just they don't need to do much on the interior. Just give it a little specialty, and dude, they could beat everybody.
I think what I'd like to see and what I think needs to happen is a high mileage, high MPG offering for a turbo, because if you're in the 300 horsepower range, which the Frontier is, right?
310,
yeah. If you're in that 300 horsepower range for the Frontier, that's all you need for that truck. That truck is super fast in that range. I mean,
but Dan,
you don't need. Hold on. Let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
That's great horsepower for that range. But if you get 16, 17 miles to the gallon, if you get 14 to 12, somewhere in that range, that's not great.
Right.
If you could take a motor similar to that, or if you could take a 4-cylinder motor and get 22 miles per gallon at the same horsepower, that's when that power plant, whatever, whether it's a 6-cylinder or 4-cylinder at that MPG, especially when we're talking gas prices right now are at 4.50 for me, across the US it's whatever it is, but it's going to change drastically I think over the next couple of years. But you have to be able to have a really good MPG at the same horsepower ratio, because that's what we've come to expect. We're in the mini truck has to have 280 to 310 horsepower. That's what you expect now from that size vehicle.
Right.
And I know you went on the Maverick train for a little bit, but the MPG is going to be, if you want like really high MPGs, you'll go with the Maverick. If you want a mini truck that's going to be able to go out and do all the things, if you want to drive to Utah, for me, if you want to drive to Utah, you want to be able to afford it. It's not going to cost you $500 to drive to Utah and back. So those are all definitely like big factors in what you're going to do with your future motors. And I think Nissan is right there, but if it's not going to get the gas mileage as, something that's producing the same horsepower but gets way better gas mileage, you're just not going to be able to hold your market value for what you want.
Well, but if you look at the where the Frontier stands right now, it's the class leading horsepower for right now. But if what I think is going to happen with Ranger, that it gets to the 4-cylinder, which is right at 300 horsepower, you put the 2.7 in it, which is 330 horsepower, and if they do the 3-liter, which I'm predicting is going to happen for the Raptor version, you're almost 400 horsepower there, dude. Like, nobody, I don't even care, Toyota right now does not stand a chance, because ultimately truck guys are blue collar guys generally. The guys that aren't blue collar is going to go for the Maverick because they want something car-like that rides well. And Nissan should have been in that game a long time ago. They know how to make a pup truck. But I think Nissan can look, they could have a year of good press for them of being a leading in everything. And then next year, they're at the bottom of the list again, man. Like, the company has to get aggressive. And for Flo, thank you for that $10. Thank you a lot. That means a lot. But they really do, Danny. They've got to make a splash somehow. And I know once again, I love the brand. So when I'm critical of the brand, it's because I want to see them do better. It's not because I want to be When I cover that brand, I cover it with a different perspective because I want to see it do well. I'm for the underdog.
Yeah, you're rooting for them, right?
Yeah, I'm not. It's easy, and you'll see a lot of the press just get on the bandwagon of it's easy to shit on that brand because everybody does it, and it's like copying somebody else's homework, basically. So I want to see it do well, but I just think if they don't do this Nismo potentially, or if they don't in 2 years pump that to 325 horsepower or something like that, they're late. Nissan does have a history they're like the Titanic trying to turn away from the iceberg. They're turning and turning and turning, and they still hit it.
Iceberg, right ahead. She's made of iron and wood cotton. She's bound to flounder. No, yeah. So I think Kevin kind of made a good point. The Ranger is just not good looking, and I completely agree, Kevin. It doesn't have the looks that the Frontier has. I think the Frontier is hands down the best looking mini truck in the market right now. The Toyota is old. It looks like it has forever. Kind of like when Toyota came out, they had a better looking. They didn't have an old looking car or truck. I think if the Ranger comes out with a much better styling, a little bit more aggressive, beefier, better shoulder kind of style, masculine style, I think that they are going to start whooping up on the competition. Nissan has the potential, and they have the ability to make waves, but they are notorious for coming out and making waves after somebody jumped in the pool.
Well, it's like Tim would pick
somebody did a cannonball in the pool, and then they're like, "Look at what I could do with this little kickboard," and you're like, "Dude, there's already waves, so nobody cares anymore."
Well, Tim would pick up Truck Plus SUVs documented as many times that Toyota Japan has been allowing Toyota USA to make more changes for our market. And I don't think Nissan is allowed to make any changes for the U.S. market because I've had talks with Nissan corporate where they wanted the Titan to come out sounding better. I think the Titan's exhaust sounds pretty good, especially for a stock. You put it up against any of the V8s, it's not bad. They wanted it to sound aggressive, and Nissan Japan said no. Nissan Japan has zero idea of what the U.S. market wants, and I think it's very obvious because, I mean, look, they're still trying to push an Altima. If you look at Altima sales, they've gone for the past 10 years. Altima was the top-selling car. Suddenly, now they don't sell many of it. They've went to the Rogue, which I think the Rogue is a good-looking vehicle. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's already, within a year and a half, versus some of the competitions, looking outdated. Toyota has the RAV4 where they're doing an off-road package. I mean, granted, Danny, it's not
with markup. Somebody showed me like a $20,000 markup the other day on a RAV4 in some area.
But they're doing it. Whether they sell it or not, they're doing it. And both are conservative companies, don't get me wrong. But Japan has to let Nissan USA let us build the truck we want to. You know, I know they're always bragging about, it's designed in San Diego. But I call BS on that because I can't think of the designer's name now, the head designer, Alfonso, or whatever his name is in Japan, has his hand on anything they do. He is their lead designer. He does have a say in that. But everything they do is somewhat looks the same. You know, they're expecting a new Murano out, and I guarantee it's going to look a lot like the Pathfinder. They don't, and I said it for a long time. If the Frontier came out looking like the Titan, it's doomed for the Frontier. Now, luckily, the outside has hints of the Titan, but the interior is a lot Titan. But the interior sold when I had my Titan. The interior sold me on the vehicle, so I'll give them that.
I love all the little Easter eggs.
Yes, yeah. You know how I feel about those Easter eggs. We went to if you don't know, me and Danny went to the last press release we did together. We went to Nissan was debuting the 2020 Titan back in November of 19, right before the shit hit the fan. And they were bragging about all these Easter eggs. And I was like, quit, you're not Jeep, guys. Like, it's fun for the Jeep because the Wrangler's kind of a fun vehicle. The Titan's supposed to be a workhorse, man. It's not I don't think of, I'm going to go to Moab in my Titan.
Yeah, no, it's not a big.
But I know you do like that stuff. Even my Bronco has Easter eggs everywhere. I could care less. I put fuel in it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, cool! That's one of those Easter eggs."
I love Easter eggs. Kevin said turbo coming in the Rogue end of January. That might be a cool thing.
They're putting the variable timing engine in it.
Yeah, is that the 3-liter that the 400?
No, it's like
the Z is going to be.
It's a 1.8. You know the variable compression engines that you love for years.
Yeah, but they still make those in larger than a 1.
No, they're like 1.8s or something.
I'm gonna have to dig into the books.
What's up, Overlanding Fun? Other Tim Davis, what's going on, buddy?
Why is Kelly being so rude to me, Dave? She's so rude.
I can't say a word, dude.
Why you gotta be so rude?
Hey, did y'all know that Danny is a big Adele fan? Like, he's one of the biggest.
Oh, she just came out. She just came out with her new album.
Danny is one of the biggest Adele fans I've ever seen.
I love Adele, dude. She is so good. She just has this. Je ne sais quoi.
Me and Danny were in his Nissan Frontier in the hills of freaking Colorado. I think we were on Black Bear Pass, and Danny starts belting out one of Adele's songs at the time.
Oh, I love Adele. I was belting it out to my kids, and they wipe their face with their hand.
Kevin says it's a 1.5.
Hey, I want to publicly apologize to Terrence because I told him I was going to meet him at Cronies.
And Terrence is giving you shit like crazy in the Bronco chats.
Yeah, I really apologize, Terrence. I think I completely just spaced that. That's all I got. I got nothing else. I completely spaced it.
Danny's like
and I thought later about it, and I felt really bad. Just for your information, I felt bad about it.
Danny's like the dog in that movie Up, where you can hear it talking, and it's like Happy Dog, and then a squirrel's over there, and he's over there, and he like darts over there.
My attention span's a little.
Oh, Kevin Monet.
Kevin Monet's Adele. Apparently, Kevin has very little to no musical.
Kevin's on the Celine Dion. He's a Celine Dion guy.
Yeah, he's so old. Kevin is so old that
Well,
like
he likes the
doesn't
Red
need-
Wings, man. Come on, they're
Golly.
and he's from Detroit, so it's like nothing up there is really winning. I mean,
He probably likes Cholulu over Tapatio too.
Oh, are you calling out his Hispanic foods?
I'm calling out his Hispanic hot sauce preference.
Oh wow. I'm hearing. I have authentic.
He's probably a Cholulu guy.
Danny, I
Cholula.
have. Let's be honest. I have the authentic Mexican food. Not you. Okay.
Anyways, let's go back to the Ford talk because this is gonna go downhill fast with
But
your
well, so
ramblings.
seriously
I think
though,
you're drunk.
Danny, if they don't come out swinging next year with something a little bit better, I think the brand's back to, unfortunately, not good times for Nissan within their trucks. And the Frontier is their home run truck right now. It's probably one of their home run vehicles. I know Pathfinder's not being made right now. They shut them down
Completely?
Yep, no parts. They're not building Pathfinder right now.
Oh.
So not till the first of the year. So that's been about.
So if I go to sell mine, can I get top dollar for
You might right now you find that person that wants a Pathfinder, you might get top dollar.
Apparently.
Let's see what else we got, Danny. How's the adventure bug, man? You normally you're out. We got Johnson Valley coming up, buddy.
Yeah.
King of Hammers, which I've been trying to get out there.
January, yeah.
Danny,
have you ever been out there?
I've not been to Johnson Valley.
Yeah,
we
I will do whatever
it.
I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I'm out there with you.
Well, I've got something coming up in I think I'll be in Florida. When is King of Hammers?
You would rather be, I don't know, Google it. But you would rather be there than anywhere else in the world, Dave. I can guarantee you, whatever press event, whatever oh, excuse me. Whatever BS that you got coming up, nothing will prepare you for what I would show you in King of the Hammers.
I've camped with you. I know what you can show me, buddy. It's not very impressive.
This is not what I can show you, Dave. Camping.
Okay.
This is the world. This is the key to the door that I can open up to you that you can look into.
So talking about this, at one time we were about a month ago talking about me flying out to King of Hammers and you pulling your poor camper out that way, and we doing it upright. That there was a discussion because I have to be in Florida in mid to 20 something of January, and I thought about going from you flying straight to Florida to do what I've got to do. So there's still a chance. We just got to iron out these details.
Listen, Dave,
man.
the only thing that Florida can offer you is gators, murder, or possibly a mullet. I can't think of anything else that Florida can offer you. And all of those things seem terrible.
Your favorite YouTubers in Florida.
Oh, Cletus.
Yeah.
If you go to see Cletus, that's the only thing that I'm
What
willing
makes you
to
think
allow.
I'm not going down to see Cletus?
Then I'll fly out there with you.
Why
Why haven't I got an invite? We're going to the Freedom Factory. I'm in.
Suddenly, Danny's of like F Johnson Valley.
Yeah, John. The only place that's better than Johnsonville, Freedom Factory.
I will make that happen for you, buddy. I will. Give me time. I will make Cletus happen for you.
Yeah, we're gonna go do the 2.4 hours and lay mullets with you at the Freedom Factory. I'll drop everything.
You heard it there. And yes, Tim, Nissan equals boring. Gones said it right. Well, sadly, is the problem with Gones saying that is he set the tone for the past 20 years. So like he's just calling it. Gones got to be the dumbest smart executive I've ever met, man. Like he can't shut up. He's stuck in Lebanon. If he leaves, they're gonna get him. And so, he's doing all this bullshit of, I want to clear my name, this and that. And you're like, well, you're stuck in a house, dude. Get used to it. What's up, JD Smoking Pipes? Says he's late. Danny's still doing shots for donations.
No.
That was a great episode. Danny didn't realize a few months ago, for y'all that don't know,
I got so drunk.
Danny didn't realize the power of that the audience has grown since Danny was last on. And we had 150 people in a stream, and Danny didn't realize it. And you said something about I will do a shot for donations.
It was like a shot of beer, or a shotgun and beers for donations.
Yep.
And that escalated quickly.
That did, man.
I did not have a good night that night.
Yeah, you
I
paid for
got
that
trashed.
one. You did.
I stumbled into my kitchen after I was done here.
That's
my
great.
wife just staring at me like I was some kind of lunatic.
That's great. But anyway, so guys, there is our Nissan show tonight, man. I want to say thank you for Danny to being on here. Once again, maybe we'll get Danny. I don't know. It's probably not every weekend or week, but we'll get Danny on here as much as he's able to.
Yeah,
And,
I'll try and be around a little bit more lately.
If you haven't, go check out DeGroot X. And one last thing. Who was it? Somebody asked. I got to answer this question. Somebody asked about what I thought about Nismo parts. What was it? It's the young dude. He gave us a super.
Some are good, some are junk.
I can't think of your name. Whoever asked that.
That's my opinion.
The current lineup of parts. I put a link in this chat. About that. JD, dude, you're crazy, man. I'm trying to end a show and you're super chatting me. I think their bumpers they come out with are garbage. I think the Xterra one's okay, even though I think it's like, why are you now supporting a vehicle you killed off 7 years ago? I think the rear bumper of the Xterra is bad because they didn't integrate the hitch with it. I think the Frontier that they've developed is garbage. I think me and Danny have talked about this. That sticks. What we're talking about with the hefty thing. It sticks way too far out.
They're a day late and $1 short on a lot of stuff, and then it seems a little bit like they didn't put enough thought into things.
No, they didn't. It's like guys that see off aftermarket parts on other vehicles. Like they walked around Overland West and was like, oh, that's what they want, and just without knowing why they wanted it. Their exhaust are second to none. I love their exhaust systems. I've used
good exhaust. Yes,
Nismo exhaust. They know they know how to tune their vehicles. I will say, Dan, after going to SEMA and seeing the kind of Overland build that they released, I was surprised they didn't tuck the exhaust up more than they did. It's still way in the back, just waiting to be drugged and beat the shit out of it.
That's a lack of understanding of the experience / market. But
yeah,
you know what? For I'd say for 60% of Overlanders, that's probably perfectly fine.
Right. YouTube Car Spotter says 127 to 25. I think I'm right in the middle. I think it's January 28th that I have to be in Florida. It's for some Bronco related content. So. Sadly, Danny Bronco's paying the bills.
You got your Bronco, Dave. What else do you need?
I'm going to see Nestor for one thing. I'm going down to Shadow
Nestor's gonna be in Florida in January, in February, in March, in April.
I've already ordered what I bought from Lifestyle Off Road, so I got to pick it up then.
Well, you can go pick it up in February.
I'll just send Kelly down. How about that? Here, Kelly.
Oh, even better. She
mean,
basically jumped. When you say jump, she says how high.
Wow. No, I think she'd smack me around like the one person that accused happening.
Yeah.
What's up, Cordetti? I ain't seen you in a while, buddy. Is JD Smoking Pipes, is the Titan going away? Well, I reported 2 months ago the Titan was going away, and I love now how Car and Driver or somebody is like, we're breaking the news. The Titan's going away. And you're like, guys, I've broke more Nissan news than all these wannabe magazines.
Welcome to the 20th century.
Yep. They still haven't put a 22 Titan on the website. I kid you not. I checked 2 days ago. It was a 21, and that doesn't bode well. When you got a 22,
there's a reason why I bought an F-150.
Yep, and we had this discussion privately. Yeah. I did have a joke, and Danny, Walmart. As a kid at heart, I love that I've got all these Jeeps and stuff, but you never see a lot of cool Nissan stuff. So Walmart had these little Titans. I picked that up. I thought that was really, really cool.
Did you call it Sling Blade?
Yes, I called it Sling Blade. But here's a little package of a black one. Just trucks and.
Dave is 5 years old. Just in case anybody ever wondered, Dave is actually 5 years old. He still just likes trucks.
I like things that I don't want to own anymore, so we'll put them on the mantle. I did 3 years in a Titan. It wasn't bad at all. But we'll put that up there. And if they would, you know what's funny is I did make the joke of which I told Danny this privately. I was like, which will they sell more of, that toy or Titans this year? because I have a feeling it's that toy.
They probably sold more toys.
Overlanding said it's Kelly's Bronco. That's true. I will
It
say though,
just, yeah, it is Kelly's Bronco.
the
Just so
Titan
everybody
is
knows.
a lot of value for a full size truck. I mean, a lot of value there for a V8 that I could get. I hit 21 on a trip one time with that thing, Danny, which in a full size V8 is pretty freaking good.
You hit what?
21 miles per gallon in that thing on a trip. That's for a V8, dude. That's not bad.
Oh man.
But I don't want to hear about your EcoBoost BS. What are you averaging?
22 city.
Shut up. My EcoBoost Bronco is like.
But I drive like a complete old man. So
you hit 40, dude. You got to. It's the law. I will say my Bronco's been averaging 15. So.
Well, that's because your wife's driving it with a heavy foot.
She does have a heavy foot.
Kelly is the worst driver. She thinks that every car is a race car. She's just constantly plowing through people, screaming at the window, shaking her arm. I've driven with Kelly before. It's scary.
Uh-oh.
She thinks the EcoBoost is some kind of friggin' Mustang. She's like, I finally got a Mustang, and she's been burning out around
She does
corners.
like Mustangs, though. Oh, Dan.
Yeah.
Wait, since we haven't talked, where are you at with the new Z, man? We've seen a production Z.
Sweet.
I mean, I like it. I would have one in a heartbeat.
Pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's a cool sports car. It's not in my wheelhouse right now.
Wow. Danny's you got old, Dan, real quick, buddy.
I know. I'm just not in the market for
Drinking,
that kind of a thing.
It's drinking wine and that hitting 40.
I got like 3. I literally own 3 trucks. And my wife has an SUV.
I'm sorry, guys. Danny's
I'm so anti-car right now.
He's been domesticated, so I apologize for the actions of Danny.
The car world is out of my, like, I was in the car world for a little bit, and then it died off for me because
you killed me when you sold that Z. I really was trying to find the money to buy that 300 you had, because that's my favorite. It was an automatic though, wasn't it?
No, it was a stick.
Was it? That's my favorite Nissan
it just
of
wasn't
all
a
time.
turbo.
The 300s.
The
from
300s,
the 90s,
yeah.
That's my favorite sports car, especially from the 90s.
I know, Dave. But you didn't want to pay the money that it was worth because you're cheapskate.
No, I think you actually
you
offered it to me for a price, but then you got more for it.
Yeah. Back then, you weren't the YouTube star you are now.
Well, according to people in our Bronco forums, I'm never going to be this Broncos or this YouTube star.
YouTube's car spotter guide nailed it. When the kids are no longer in the payroll, Danny will get a Z.
There you go.
Fully agree.
And they'll still be making that
really,
Z.
I want a Canyon Cruiser or I want a drag car or both. And I can tell you right now that once the kids fly the roost, Danny's gonna have a lot of cars and trucks. And
did you see that the V8s for Chrysler are going away in Dodge? Long live the Hellcat, buddy.
That's the end of the era.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're going to debut next month. I think the new electric Challengers and Chargers, which would actually be really, really cool though.
Kevin Monet says, "Is Danny going to the Catalina Wine Festival?"
No, the Catalina Wine Mixer.
It's the wine mixer, Kev. And yeah, bro. And I can guarantee you, Kevin will be at the wine mixer.
Oh,
Kevin is a wine mixer. Like I think he creates the wine mixer. I think he's like the main dude that sets those up.
Yeah, Kevin has to have some aviator shades too, right?
Oh yeah.
He's aviator. He's Top Gun all the way.
I think he just booked the saxophone player for the wine mixer.
There you go, guys. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these Frontiers that I would like to drive, this has been your All Terrain Nation. What are we, Danny?